KANU yajenga nchi.
Yajenga nchi. Good morning. And talking about KANU is that they lost quite an investment there, and we'll be bringing you up to speed what we are discussing. And also in some matters regarding where we are in as far as matters of bilateral trade ties are concerned, is that the president is already in Seoul, and we expect quite much from his visit there, including creating more forums, or rather more points of partnership between Kenya and Seoul there. We'll be keeping tabs on that. Welcome. Good morning once again. This is Good Morning Kenya, and I'm Regina Manyara. Now let me bring you up to speed, and we start off with matters of KICC. What you did not know is that Kenya African National Union, KANU, has lost a case lodged to claim ownership of Kenyatta International Convention Center. The Environment Land Court has ruled that the land on which the KICC sits belongs to the government after revoking the title issued to the Kenya African National Party, that is KANU.
In dismissing a petition by KANU party filed in 2020 seeking to be declared the owner of KICC, Justice Anne Jacqueline Mogeni further issued a declaration that the Ministry of Tourism is the lawful owner of KICC.
However, will be in compliance with the court order of 12th of February 2015 following the judgment of Judge Receipt as she then was. This court has established from the evidence on record that the sued property belongs to the government, as the cross petition states.
The party had stated in court documents that it was allocated the land on 10th May 1969 by the Commission of Lands and acquired a title deed to the land on 25th May 1989.
This court is of the view that although the petitioner has alleged that their rights under the Constitution were violated, they have not proved that the takeover of the sued property, which does not belong to them, was unlawful, and that it has in any way interfered with the petitioner's right to property. This court has established that the petitioner is not the owner of the sued property.
However, in a ruling on Monday, the judge said that the Commission of Lands in 1989 had no power to alienate the land to KANU. KANU had filed the case before the Environment and Land Court in 2020.
Was the act of allocating the petitioner public land an act of furthering the Kenyan attitude of, in quotes, mutadu, or was it a failure to understand the law?
In a rejoinder, the KANU party said while they respect and appreciate the independence of the court, they are highly disappointed by the judgment delivered. In a statement sent to newsrooms, KANU stated that the allocation of the land was procedural and therefore KANU is the bona fide owner of the land. Elsewhere at the Anti-Corruption Court, the National Industrial Training Authority, Director General Stephen Ogenga and two others have been charged for allegedly awarding a tender worth 4.8 million for the supply and repair of training machines in the financial year 2017-2018. Appearing before the Anti-Corruption Trial Magistrate Zipporah Gishana, the suspects denied the charges placed against them. Ogenga was charged alongside former NITA boss Paul Kipsang Kosgei, who did not take plea, citing that he was sick, through his lawyer.
To be admitted to a bond of 3 million with a surety of similar value. All the accused persons are further required to deposit their passports in court.
The pre-trial is set for 19th June this year. With the court ruling that the petitioner could not explain how they got the title deed in 1989, the court has also poked holes on how the then President Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi could allocate himself a public land. Ruth Wamboi reporting from Milimani Law Courts.
That's a wrap from what was happening in the corridors of justice, and you can bet tonight also Ruth is going to be keeping tabs on what is going to be happening across the courts in the country. Now, public service performance and delivery CS Moses Kuria has gotten into the fray, arguing on the one man, 1 shilling debate, arguing that the proposal is unhealthy for the country. Kuria made the remarks in Kiambu County during a launch of the county dissemination forums, warned if it allowed, it could only serve to balkanize the country along ethnic lines.
The raging debate on the one man, one shilling, one vote in allocation of county revenue continued Monday, just a day after the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua had backed the proposal. In adding his voice to the raging debate, Public Service, Performance and Delivery CS Moses Kuria has dismissed calls to adopt the proposal, warning it could divide the country.
We need Kenya, the biggest ingredient people, especially from this region, we need is to really invest in Kenya. And I'm saying that as someone who travels across the country. And I find people from this county all over the country. They ask me when they hear some people here talking about, I don't know, seclusion, isolation. They ask me, are you people muna kichwa mzuri, munafikiria vizuri?
The CS also underscored the need for good intergovernmental relations between the two levels of government for the benefit of Kenyans.
We've had here something to do with the health care. It's very, very good. There were maternity care. How I would wish that now is going to be integrated within our social health.
Kuria further put on notice cartels in the coffee sector, saying the new Cooperatives Act, which is set to be operationalized, will make it possible for farmers to be paid directly through their mobile phones and keep cartels at bay.
The National Assembly Committee Chair, Kuria Kimani, says a scrapping of the proposed motor vehicle tax in the finance bill would result in a budget deficit of 58 billion shillings. Here's Abdi Hashim with the details.
Day 6 of the public hearing on the bill saw the American Chamber of Commerce propose the 2.5 motor vehicle tax be reduced to 1%. Additionally, they argued subjecting commercial and agricultural vehicles to the tax will increase the operating cost of manufacturers and suppliers, thus driving up the cost of goods and services.
Of course, we appreciate that this tax is quite steep. We look at the factors that insurance right now is going at 4 to 5% at a comprehensive level. Adding a 2.5% can be quite significant on taxpayers.
On the other hand, the Association of Kenya Insurance want the tax expunged in its entirety.
So what will happen is that the number of comprehensive covers are going to reduce significantly because people will no longer afford comprehensive covers. They would rather move on to third-party insurance covers. And what does this mean to you and I who are going to be the insured? It means that we are sitting on a risk in the event of an accident, God forbid. What means is that the insurance companies will only cover claims relating to third parties, but will not cover your own claim. So that means that you have to go back to your pocket.
According to the association, out of the over 3 million registered vehicles on the roads, 1.5 million have not been insured, and if the proposal by Treasury is adopted, the figure could rise and increase unemployment.
But then, if that matatu then was to attract tax at 2.5% of value, and these matatus, if you're looking at the 25-seater, the price is in the range of 8 million. I'm not too sure that we'll be able to provide these people with insurance.
On the other option then, if we have to really get rid of it, we would reduce the budget by 58 billion. Now the problem is nobody wants the budget. Okay, not this side, but the political side.
The introduction of withholding tax on the digital marketplace, they argued, will impact the pricing mechanism and trigger an increase in the prices of goods and services distributed through digital platforms, hampering the adoption of e-commerce.
In the face of these increasing tax burdens, usually reduces their disposable income. People are hiring more to remain tax compliant and firing more where we actually need development.
The stakeholders have further proposed a revision of excise duty on vegetable oils from 25% to 5% to ensure Kenyans do not opt for unhealthy oils to save cost.
When you're moving the finance bill, everyone wants to oppose it, okay? When you're moving the appropriations bill, everyone wants to increase it. So that is irony, that members of parliament want their budget increased, but they don't want the taxes.
Public participation on the proposed Finance Bill 2024-2025 rages on. President Dr. William Ruto arrived in Seoul, South Korea for the Korea-African Summit set to kick off today. The summit is expected to deliberate ways to build strong relations between South Korea and Africa, leveraging each other's strengths to foster mutual growth, tackle global challenges, and reinforce solidarity for peace and security. The president will also hold bilateral talks with President Yoon Suk-yeol in a bid to deepen areas of cooperation. Was received by Ambassador Kang So-ki, former Korean ambassador to Seychelles and currently the state representative for reconstruction efforts in Ukraine.
Hello, how are you? Very good.
This is your second time to visit Korea, I heard.
We'll be unpacking what the summit is going to bring forth for Africa and especially for Kenya, given this is another international trip that the president has embarked on after his official visit to the United States of America. Now, police in Mwingi are holding a 24-year-old man in connection with the murder of a 40-year-old lady in a suspected case of love gone sour. The man who was attacked by the mob was rescued by police and is alleged to have killed the lady after she sought to end their relationship.
Residents of Kathiani location in Mwingi West constituency were treated to a rare show after a 24-year-old confessed to having killed a 40-year-old lover after cracks emerged in their relationship.
Kulingana na venye nimeoja huyo suspect ameniambia walikuwa wanaishi na huyo mama kama rafiki. Sasa kuna mwanamume mwingine alikuja kutoka Garissa. Sasa ndio wakaanza kugombana.
It is this unlikely confession that angered residents who descended on him, giving the police a hard time to rescue him from the jaws of the death.
Tulipokuja tulijaribu kuonya watu wasimuumize, lakini tukakaa vile tulikuwa tunangojea OCS akuja achukue mwili. Crowd wametushinda nguvu na wakachukua hiyo kijana wakamuumiza sana.
Confirming the incident, Kathiani location chief Mwikali Musili said the suspect admitted to having killed the woman after a disagreement.
Nilielezea vizuri ni yeye aliua mama na alitumia mti kuni akamgonga kichwa na ni kama walikuwa wanapigana. Alafu alipompiga akaona amezizia ndio alimchukua akampeleka akamfuruta nyuma ya bomu.
Alivyoconvince kwamba yeye ndiye alimuua kutumia kuni na akamvuta akampeleka pale, watu walikadhirika sana, ndipo wakampiga mawe kijiti na ni kama wamemuua kwa maututi zaidi. So mimi niko na uchungu sana juu huyo sister wangu nilikuwa nampenda sana, jirani yangu tumekaa naye muda mrefu.
The suspect was taken to Mwingi Level 4 hospital for treatment before being processed and arraigned in court. The body of the deceased is lying at Mwingi Level 4 hospital mortuary awaiting post-mortem.
Well, as we say, every life is priceless, and if you cannot stand each other well, walk away. Walk away. The rate at which partners are killing their partners, spouses and such, well, is on a high rate. Looking at the statistics of gender-based violence, well, may justice be served in that case in Mwingi. Now to the counties, church leaders from Hayenga Shinyalu constituency have come together to raise funds for vulnerable children in the county. The initiative, which is in collaboration with the county government, is aimed at reducing the number of students dropping out of school in the region. This and more in our County News Roundup.
The initiative that has brought together church leaders from different denominations in Hayega area Shinyalu constituency is aimed at addressing the increasing number of school dropouts in the area. They noted that many parents are struggling financially, with many unable to provide basic education for their children. The leaders have also called upon well-wishers and political leaders in the area to intervene to help more children access education.
Kuna watoto wengi sana wame drop out. Sio kupenda kwao wasiendelee na masomo yao, ni kwa kuwa wanaona vile hali ilivyo nyumbani, wazazi hata kuweka chakula kwa meza haiwezekani, hata kukimu kilimo chao hakiwezekani. Lazima tuangamize. Ukiona kanisa isimame vizuri, kazi ya hawana siasa isimame vizuri, uongozi wa serikali usimame vizuri, watoto wawe wameelimika, watu wawe wameelimika. Na kwa hiyo tunashukuru wote ambao wako na maoni kama hayo. Kujeni pamoja, tuungane, tusomeshe watoto wetu, tuangamize hili janga la illiteracy.
Meanwhile, Nakuru County Commissioner Layford Kibara says the state is constantly formulating smarter solutions in technology and revising strategies and policies towards countering violent extremism to remain a step ahead of terrorists who constantly evolve their tactics. Kibara saying that the government is banking in revised national strategy to counter violent extremism across the country.
Much as the terrorists are also advanced in the use of technology, as government, we need to counter that technology issues that they are using so that we are better with them. This is in terms of the policy, including even our laws.
Elsewhere, the Kenya Human Rights Commission has raised concerns over the planned resettlement of families affected by the Mai Mahiu Dam tragedy. The Commission's Deputy Executive Director, Cornelius Oduol, stated that the evacuation of families from the established camps into rented houses was marred with uncertainty, with fears that the move would not offer a long-lasting solution.
Quite a number of them have been told to leave the camps, to go and rent facilities for a period of 3 months. We are calling for government to do is to have a clear resettlement plan and give proper information that can give these victims some level of certainty as to when and how they will be compensated.
And finally, the Tawe Youth Movement from Trans Nzoia have started a program to sensitize their peers about jobs and tendering opportunities available in the county, as well as teaching them how to send applications for jobs available in the county.
Tunataka kusensitize youth on the equal opportunities ziko county. Youth asikie tuko mashinani akilalamika akisema uongozi ni mbaya, naye mwenyewe hajachukua step ya kuja wapi kuangalia hizo opportunities. So we want to train them on how they can bargain for these positions. Na hizo opportunities ziko kwa hii Trans Nzoia. Because Tawe Youth Movement tumekuja pamoja, wasema corruption Tawe. Tenda za vijana zibaki kuwa za vijana. Wazee zibaki kuwa za wazee.
From the counties, now we speak matters business, where Kenya spent 210 billion shillings more than it had between July of 2023 and March this year on account of shortfall in revenue collection, non-alignment of exchequer issues and increased expenditure on travel by government agencies. The latest Controller of Budget report indicates that most of the cash was spent on recurrent expenses at 2.54 trillion shillings, with 369 billion shillings going to development expenditure.
The top three spenders on development were the State Department for Roads, the State Department for Economic Planning, and the State Department for Water and Sanitation. On the other hand, the top three spending government agencies on recurrent expenditure were the Teachers Service Commission, Ministry of Defence, and the State Department for Higher Education and Research, each spending more than 1 billion shillings during the 9-month period to March 2024. The latest Control of Budget report indicates that government agencies spent 436.18 billion shillings on compensation to employees, representing 38% of the gross recurrent expenditure. In addition, the total expenditure on travel by employees working for government agencies totaled 18.18 billion shillings, comprising 12.33 billion shillings and 5.85 billion shillings for domestic and foreign travel, respectively. According to the Control of Budget, this represents a 29.2% increase when compared to what was spent on travel during a similar period in the last financial year. To address this, the Control of Budget recommends strict compliance with government guidelines relating to non-core expenses, including domestic and foreign travel. The Control of Budget is recommending the fast tracking of the implementation of the single treasury account that was approved for introduction in January this year. This would ensure the government utilizes its funds to address shortfalls in areas of need. The Controller of Budget says this will help address overdraft charges that increased by 105% to 7.03 billion shillings during the 9 months period to March 2024.
You will pay for charging electric vehicles at normal rates following full utilization of the 15,000 kilowatt hours that enjoy a special half rate of 8 shillings per unit. This follows a steady increase in the number of electric vehicles and motorbikes in Kenya. The Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority is now receiving views from players in the e-mobility space for consideration to review the current cap.
When we looked at the application from the utility Kenya Power for a special e-mobility tariff, we introduced the cap so that then we could ensure that we strike the right balance in terms of revenue requirements for the utility. So we need to have a conversation with the utility and also with the stakeholders so that then we can make a decision as to whether it's increasing the limit from 15,000 kilowatt hours a month towards a higher threshold. But then eventually the intention may be at the end of this tariff control period, when we have the full scale of what e-mobility uptake would look like, then eventually then not have the cap at all.
We are cognizant that in the next few years the demand for electricity will expand across this country, across all counties, and we have plans to strengthen our distribution network to manage the need.
To put this in perspective, Kenya's peak demand stood slightly above 2,100 megawatts against an installed capacity of 3,600 megawatt. Kenya Power has indicated that the unutilized 1,000 megawatts is enough to power 50,000 buses and 2 million motorcycles during off-peak hours.
A new Karibu Business Center has been commissioned in Bungoma town and the second such facility after that one in Nairobi. Investments, Trade and Industry Cabinet Secretary Rebecca Miano says the center is dedicated to offering advisory support on investments, manufacturing, trade policies, among others, to entrepreneurs, investors and traders. Miano says a similar facility will soon be opened in the Mount Kenya region.
Hivyo tunalenga wanabiashara, wawekezaji na hata viwanda na wale wanataka kuanzisha biashara zao. Kila mtu tunalenga kila mtu na tunahakikisha ya kwamba kufanya biashara imekuwa rahisi kabisa. Si lazima mtu achukue gari ama safari ya kwenda Nairobi ama area ingine ili apate usaidizi. Ndio tumeleta usaidizi hapa mashinani.
To matter sports, the Kenyan ladies team to the upcoming Billie Jean Kings Cup believe that they have what it takes to lift the trophy this year after intense preparations at the Nairobi club, where the men's team is also gearing up for the Davis Cup. The Billie Jean Kings Cup will be held from the 10th to the 15th of this month at the Nairobi club, while the Davis Cup will start thereafter in Luanda, Angola.
The girls' team comprises of US-based Alicia Owegi, Roslinda Asumu and Stacey Yego, who will be joined by top seed Angela Okutoi and Cynthia Cheruto, who are currently in Tunisia, where Angela is chasing more points in the W50 La Masa tournament to enable her qualify for the Paris Olympic Games. All the five ladies have been involved in build-up tournaments home and away in their bid to lift the Billie Jean Kings Cup after they finished third last year.
Training has been good. I've been training for the past 3 weeks in Nairobi Club. And before then I was in college in the US, still doing more training. So I think I'm going to be ready for the tournament next week.
I was part of the team during last year, the same tournament here, and it was a good experience. I think we're a pretty strong team, and we saw what happened last year, and we can do better. And I think we've got a chance. We can do this time.
Preparation has been going well. I came last week part one, so I've trained with the team for like 1 week right now, and the preparation has been well. We've been training with Coach Caro and the team looks like they're ready to play the Billie Jean, and I'm also ready.
Meanwhile, the men's team is also in camp in preparation for the Davis Cup to be held from the 19th to 22nd of this month in Angola. The provisional team comprises Kyle Shah, who finished second in the NCAA Division 2 individual tournament, Kevin Cheriot, who is away in Australia, Kin Shah, Albert Njogu, Raymond Odur, Derek Ominde, Brandon Sagala and Ibrahim Yego. Coach George Oyo said they will name the final traveling team of 5 this week as they look forward to being promoted to Group 3 this time around.
The Davis Cup coming up in Angola in 2 weeks. Last year we didn't get promoted, or we didn't get demoted from Group 4, so we're still in Group 4. We're looking to move up to Group 3. And yeah, that's our main goal this year.
We've been training since Accra. After Accra, we embarked on training. And the team has been training was training 3 times a week. And then we increased to every day as from last month. And then now we only have 2 weeks to go before the event. So training has been good. The players are physically fit and ready to play. Some of them have been playing in tournaments abroad, like Kyle, who just finished playing finals in the NCAA, and he did well. He lost in the finals. And then the rest have been training locally. Also, we try to make sure they get to have some match practice as well.
All the best to the team. Now, junior starlets are optimistic that they'll come back with the much-needed points in the 2024 FIFA Under-17 World Cup qualifier against Burundi on Sunday this week in Ethiopia. The junior starlets are ramping up their training this week in the country ahead of the 4th and final round of the 2-legs qualifier against Burundi. The national Under-17 girls team eliminated Ethiopia in the 3rd round to win a 3-0 aggregate win after a goalless first leg. Burundi demolished Djibouti 24-0 on aggregate to book their place in the final round. The Kenyan team aims to write history by becoming the first Kenyan team to qualify for the FIFA World Cup under the 17 women's tournament scheduled in the Dominican Republic. Well, now to some good news, especially for rugby lovers. Yes, so we made history after a one-year hiatus. That is, triumphant Kenya team is going to be arriving today, and our reporter Bernard Okomo is at the airport awaiting the Shujaa team to come back and, you know, to some celebration, having thrashed Germany 33-15 to secure a place back at the HSBC World Rugby 7 Series. Remember, this is a return after 1 year. And that match, if you want to have a recap of that, it is available on our various social media platforms. And it actually took place on Sunday at the Metropolitan Stadium there. So you can get the details of that. And we're going to be joining Bernardo Kumu in the course of this particular program to bring us up to speed with Shujaa's triumphant return to the country, and with goods indeed, now that we're going to be playing in the Elite Rugby Series. And the news at that point, just to remind you, some of the stories that we're going to be keeping tabs on includes the recuperation of those who were injured in yesterday's LPG oil tanker explosion, as well as the ongoing public discourse, public participation on the proposed Finance Bill 2024-2025, with a take-home from the Courier-led team indicating that dropping, or rather expunging, the 2.5% motor vehicle tax is something that government is not willing to actually do, given that it's going to take off a cool 58 billion shillings that government has already earmarked to generate and to spend in the financial year. Puts a cap on matters in the headlines and leaving the capable hands of Mike for the rest of the programming. Be on the lookout for that particular link from the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport with Bernardo Kumu as Shujaas return home in a triumphant manner. I'm Regina Manyara. Have a pleasant Tuesday ahead.